Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
Welcome to the big program here on the 8 News Now Vegas streaming channel, live at 10. I'm John Langler.
And I'm Nathan Tannenbaum.
And have been for some time.
Yes, but I haven't been up here before. No, I've been here once.
Once before.
I've been here once before. It looks the same.
It looks, yeah. Ozzy is off today, so Nate's filling in capably. And hopefully we'll have a fun time this morning. Later on in the program, we're going to talk about gaming revenue, tourism revenue, the latest numbers on where Las Vegas tourism stands right now. We've got some new numbers on gaming and flights in and out of town. We'll look at the traffic efforts on Lake Mead Parkway.
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. We're talking about Lake Mead Parkway in Henderson, not Lake Mead Boulevard up north. It confuses me all the time, too. That's all on the way. But first, let's start with some new video that was posted just this morning by Metro Police. You'll remember the British family that was hit by an alleged drunk driver near the Strip. This was around Harmon and Audrey about 2 or 3 weeks ago. This is video Metro Police posted showing the family out of the hospital now and preparing to go home. This is body camera video from Metro. Again, they posted this morning. It was the British family. They showed up at Metro, the Convention Center Area Command, to thank Metro officers for what they did at the scene to help save their lives, and then subsequently visiting them in the hospital, make sure they're doing okay. Great to see the family out and about and recovering. They're now on their way back to Britain.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about life-threatening injuries.
Absolutely.
With these folks.
Mother and a young daughter, critically injured, and you can see they're within reason up and about.
And if you get a chance to check out the video, it's great when Metro Police get thanked because they don't get thanked enough.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
They're so happy for the family.
But it's also a reminder from Metro Police about obviously not drunk driving. We see far too many of these horrible tragedies around the valley. Thankfully, they survived this crash. The man who's accused of driving drunk in the crash, Gavin Catchy, he was indicted by a grand jury back on Wednesday, faces criminal charges. And so in that video, this is video of him in court, but in the video this morning from Metro Police, there's just another plea to drive safely on our roads.
Yeah, and we don't want to get too deep into the weeds of the difference between an indictment and a criminal charge, but when a grand jury hears evidence and they proceed with an indictment, that's presumably a stronger case.
Yeah, and so we'll see where that goes. But the bottom line is certainly the good news is that this family is recovering from these critical injuries and now are heading back to dear old Great Britain.
What's next? Oh, I think we're talking about some people afraid to travel from here to a very popular destination, and it turns out that you don't have as much to worry about as maybe you thought you did.
Possibly. We're talking about Mexico, visiting Mexico. You see, Nick Summer, our reporter, spoke with the local Mexican consulate here in Las Vegas. As you'll recall, not long ago, earlier this week, over the weekend actually, the Mexican military took out the notorious drug cartel leader El Mencho, and that sparked a wave of some violence in some parts of Mexico. You can see some fire-started, cars ignited, various other acts of violence around the country.
It was scary, and it put the fear in a lot of people. But in Nick's conversation with the woman from the consulate, she talked about law enforcement working together and that air travel is back.
Yeah, so the idea from Mexican officials is that, yes, this is a thing and visitors should be conscious of what's going on, but it's relatively isolated. They have not necessarily been targeting tourists. Tourists have noticed what's been going on, and some of the flights have been affected, but now it's somewhat back to normal. But they certainly encourage visitors to Mexico to just keep an eye on things when you're going down there.
Yeah, and especially if you are yourself or you know someone who's going, some people may be freaking out, and I think the idea here is it's whatever the worst of that was, is that go ahead and do your travel plans.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. Let's now switch gears and talk politics and investigations in New York State. This morning, former President Bill Clinton is testifying right now behind closed doors to a House Oversight Committee that is investigating Jeffrey Epstein, the late convicted child sex trafficker and abuser. The House committee is trying to look into the connections between the Clinton family and Jeffrey Epstein. You'll remember the former First Lady, the former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, testified yesterday before the committee, again behind closed doors. In his opening statement this morning, the former president said he, quote, had no idea of Epstein's crimes. He said, "I saw nothing and I did nothing wrong. Now, there are pictures, as you see here, you just saw a second ago, of the former president with Jeffrey Epstein, so they certainly knew each other. But the former president says he did not know anything about the criminal activity.
And that's an echo of what his wife said, pretty much the same thing. Yes, she had no awareness of Epstein's crimes at the time, and I don't know whether did she say she ever met him? I don't recall.
I believe she had not met him before.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's somewhat contained in the so-called Epstein files. What's interesting is that Democrats, including the Clinton family, are saying, "Okay, we'll give this testimony. We'll talk to you guys," but they're suggesting that the committee should also speak with current President Donald Trump, who also has some connections to Jeffrey Epstein. No wrongdoing has been shown on any part in this case, but they obviously knew each other.
And I think, did I not hear correctly at some point that the Clintons were offering to testify publicly, but it was Congress that said, no, we're going to keep this behind closed doors?
Yeah, and so that might become public later, but they wanted to have this, Congress wanted to have this behind closed doors first. We'll see where it goes from here. Now let's talk about those gaming numbers, Nate.
Yes, I'm going to start with the travel numbers.
Travel numbers, fair enough.
Yeah, because, there's the gaming numbers. So
they are
overall,
connected.
yes, they sure are, because if you don't have a whole lot of visitors, as many as you used to, you may not have the same amount of gaming revenue. So the new numbers show, obviously, a weaker tourism. We've been talking about that on the news this morning. Passengers down about 8% from a year ago. And the statewide gaming number, what is it, down 6.5%?
6.5% in January, but the Strip, and the new numbers released this morning, the Strip down 11%, which is really remarkable. Some of the more rural communities saw their gaming numbers go up, but the Strip down 11%. That's kind of been an ongoing trend. The international travel down 19%, too.
Yes,
that's a big number.
That is a big number, and maybe it's getting too deep for you to get into the way they break down the gaming numbers, but it is fascinating to see the differences along the Strip. They break down the Boulder corridor. They also break down downtown, even North Las Vegas. So there are some fluctuations here and there, but the overall numbers down with the Strip, again, down 11% compared to statewide, down 6.5%.
And it's indicative of the economy, right? We've heard from LVCVA President, CEO Steve Hill talking about how people are still coming to Vegas, and indeed they are. But these numbers show, though, yes, people are coming to town, but they're gambling less, and fewer people are flying into town. Later today, we'll get the hotel room numbers and the room rates from the LVCVA. This does, though, bring us to our question of the day.
Exactly. So the question of the day is, have you gambled in the last 2 years? And I think that does include if you're stopping at the convenience store and you drop $5 in the slot machine. Guess what? That's gambling.
If you did a prop bet for the Super Bowl, that's gambling.
So does that include you?
Scan the QR code, go to 8newsnow.com/vote. Let us know. Don't worry, these answers are not legally binding. We promise not to rat you out to anyone if they didn't want you.
And this story is not brought to you by DraftKings.
No, it is not. Not yet, anyway. Let's get to one of our famous dogs.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. So you heard about the woman who abandoned the dog at the ticket counter at Reed Airport, and it was a happy ending where the dog was adopted, actually by a Metro police officer. There's the video. So we have heard from that woman's brother who said that, we learned that she's got some issues, and he's trying to stand up for her, but at the same time saying, yeah, she's got issues.
So we spoke, 8 News Now spoke exclusively with Gerald Bryson, who is the brother of Jermira Bryson, who was the woman who left the dog at the airport. He says that his sister is a military veteran suffering from a combat disability, and she was moving from Las Vegas at the time to move in with relatives, kind of a sign of how her condition has deteriorated from her service in the U.S. Armed Forces. So as you mentioned, Nate, he was sort of standing up for his sister, saying she's been going through a difficult time. You hear from Animal Control. They say they tried to reach out to the family, and they were not particularly receptive to what they were trying to do here. Bryson does still face at this point misdemeanor charges of abandoning an animal. Yeah, and
I think we heard that the Animal Control said that there were signs that the dog may not have been taken as good a care of as it could have been. At the same time, the brother was saying, this is a person, even though it's my sister who's having her problems, who did serve our country and was doing the best that she could under some difficult circumstances.
We'll hear certainly more on this story, but the bottom line is JetBlue, anyway, the dog, has a new home this morning. Next year on the big program, as we mentioned, we'll talk about Lake Mead Parkway and some of the changes that are planned down there and efforts to improve the traffic flow, and U.S. Olympians coming to Las Vegas. We'll have that coming up.
Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
It's the 10 o'clock streaming news of 8 News Now. And, John, I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's been a little bit warm.
Yeah, mainly because of the temperature, as far as I can tell.
That's weird how that works, but apparently we may be approaching record temperature.
Yeah, it's the end of February, Mary Jane, and it feels like May almost. It's very warm outside. My air conditioning in my house, I think, was flirting with turning on yesterday. I thought about it.
See, I had to turn mine on. And, you know, I always say Mother Nature, she is just preheating the oven a little bit. I would like some fresh-baked cookies, but it's a lot more than what we're seeing right now, especially with this heat that's going to last all the way through the weekend. So here's what we're seeing outside right now. A beautiful view coming in from our Strat South Tower cam, and some nice blue skies, but also a little bit of cloud cover, 69 degrees with light winds coming in from the north at about 9 miles an hour. And with our current weather pattern, we have a lot of those 80s to spread across many valley spots, including Las Vegas, Henderson, and Boulder City. This is really anywhere from at least a 10 to 15 degree difference when compared to the average of 66. And we're about to get even hotter as we make our way through your Saturday. So take a look at what we're seeing for today. 82, Saturday at about 84, and then Sunday 83 degrees. So it does seem like that heat will peak for your Saturday. We could get pretty close as far as what we're seeing with record-breaking temperatures. We could either tie that or even break it, and I think we will do that by Saturday. So with this current pattern, this is that ridge of high pressure. It continues to amplify, and not just for us down here in southern Nevada, but we're seeing it all the way across California. I mean, Burbank and even downtown LA in the upper 80s. Phoenix today, 94 degrees. So talk about hot. It is really hot in some places out there. I'm not ready for 90s yet, but at least it's nice and clear right now. We do have a little bit of cloud cover surging in from west to east. There's our next weather maker. This is that area of low pressure that's going to finally cool us down. As we push into at least your Monday, Sundays where we start seeing the breezy winds, but 70s are back on the board. It's still warm, of course, by our March standards, anywhere from at least 5 to 10 degrees warmer. But it is a warm end to February and still a warm start to March.
But the bottom line, based on that forecast, guys, that this is the hottest time of the year. Right after this, it's all downhill. Summertime is going to be nice and cool and chill.
If only.
And I got to throw in a comment about the spring training baseball. The Cactus League in Phoenix, temperatures in the 90s. It's going to be tough on the ball players down there and the fans. So hydrate, right, Mary Jane?
Right, exactly.
And they come to Vegas too, right? For the
Big League weekend is a couple of weekends away. Yeah,
very exciting. Thanks, Mary Jane. Appreciate that. And let's talk more traffic, Mead.
Yeah, so this is down in the southeast part of town. Of course, there are two different Lake Meads, as John was talking about earlier. But in the southeast, it's Lake Mead Parkway. And the folks in Henderson have been doing some conversations with the people in the community to say, well, we think we might need to do more down there because traffic gets really backed up from Boulder Highway all the way over to Lake Las Vegas. And then I was talking with John about the other direction on Lake Mead west of Boulder Highway over to the 95 I-11, the so-called path from old downtown Henderson over towards the freeway. It really does get jammed up, and they're having conversations, but no real construction in the immediate future.
Yeah, the idea, I think, now with the meeting they had last night was like they want to hear from the public, see what they need, what they don't need, and then start to plan a project for the future. So at some point, there will be some construction on Lake Mead Parkway there. We've seen the work going on Boulder Highway for the last couple of years now to try and modernize Boulder Highway all the way up through Henderson.
John, they are reimagining Boulder Highway.
Yes, reimagining, yes.
But one of the things on Lake Mead Parkway, the Cadence community. It's blowing up down there, so that's one of the reasons why there's so much traffic down there.
And downtown Henderson's become more popular too. So there's a lot of traffic that funnels off the freeway, as you know, at the Hender Bender, as our friend Jerry Brown calls it, going into downtown Henderson, going out to Lake Las Vegas.
And one of the news stories that you've been making sure that we're up to date on is the shut down mine that is now being developed as residential property.
Three Kids Mine, yeah, they're capping it off and building homes there. It's been somewhat controversial for the folks who live nearby, but they've done that in other housing projects in the south part of the valley before. Speaking of improvement projects,
see, there's traffic everywhere.
I know.
We could talk about this all day, every day.
Yeah, it almost might drive us crazy. We're talking about Spring Mountain, the Chinatown corridor, an effort to try and improve things. So later on today, Commissioner Justin Jones will unveil plans to improve the Spring Mountain corridor, which, as popular as it is, Nate, as you know, the road is pretty rutted up. It's hard to find parking, and it just kind of gets dangerous. It's very busy, so it's a lot of, dodging different cars and vehicles and people.
And we did talk about the opening of a pedestrian crosswalk within the last month or so that is positive. What I find fascinating is that some of the future growth they're talking about is east of Valley View, over towards the freeway on what had been some abandoned property that had some plans that fell through, but they are going ahead with now on Spring Mountain, south of Spring Mountain, east of Valley View.
Yeah, there have been ongoing efforts to try to develop that part of Spring Mountain. So later today, we'll hear from Commissioner Justin Jones on what his plans are what the county's plans are to improve the Spring Mountain corridor, which is a very popular part of town.
And we're also going to talk about some fun stuff going on in that corridor, but that's later on in the show.
First, let's talk about also fun things. The Winter Olympics, the She Got Game celebration is now coming to Las Vegas.
This started out as just a social media post by Flavor Flav saying, hey, ladies hockey team, you won the gold. Maybe you're not going to go to Washington, D.C. Why don't you come out to Las Vegas? And apparently it's happening.
Yeah, MGM Resorts, they have sort of locked into this thing called the She Got Game Festival. It'll be in mid-July to celebrate not only the U.S. women's gold medal Olympic hockey team, but all the other women who won gold medals, record number at the Olympics in Milan. So congratulations, of course, to all of them. They'll be coming here. MGM has reserved hundreds of rooms for the athletes, for their families. There's maybe talks of a party and a parade. That'll be right in the middle of a pool day club season.
Yeah, and there's Flav there. We can call him Flav, can't we?
Mr. Flav to you.
No, okay,
Yeah.
but I believe he was saying thank you.
Absolutely.
That they picked up on it and ran with it, and it's happening.
Yeah, and a lot of other resorts around town are getting in. There's the Palms getting in on the act. So
Yeah, boy.
honoring the women's Olympians for their work in Milan. Love to see that. So we'll see them coming back in the summertime.
Man.
Oh, sir, go ahead, Daryl.
Yeah, no, well, we were talking
Also, Daryl's
earlier.
here, by the way. I forgot to introduce him earlier.
This is my other
That's
brother,
on
Daryl.
me. That's on me.
And my other brother. We were just talking about the gaming revenue. Who's to say how many of these Olympians have really been to Vegas and done Vegas?
Well, and
this is one
John
of
was
those-
pointing out that some of the women's hockey players are college students.
Yeah, they're still in college, a lot of them. Yeah. So some of them are professionals. Some of them are in college. Either way, they'll get a chance to sample all that Las Vegas has to offer.
Yeah, you can show them how it's done.
The
A
Aces
good-
will
good
roll out the
time.
red carpet. They'll like, here's what you do when you win a championship in Las Vegas. The Aces will show them how it's done.
And then when they come back.
And then, yeah, do it again all over in 4 years. More 8 News Now after this.
Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
Welcome back to the mighty and powerful 8 News Now here on the streaming channel. It's John, it's Nate, and it's time to revisit our question of the day. And here he is once again live from just to my left. It's Daryl Harris.
Yes, good morning. We wanted to know how many have gambled in the last 2 years. On the heels of our recent gaming report for the month of January. It was slightly down across the state, relatively, more so on the Strip.
Yeah.
And we are still participating is what the survey says.
Absolutely. Well, because we pointed out, if you put a quarter in a slot machine at the 7-Eleven, that's gambling.
Technically, yeah. If you put like 10 cents on a prop bet for the Super Bowl, that's gambling. If you bet on this, what we're doing now, this question of the day.
We're not. No,
that's illegal. We're not allowed to
exactly.
do that.
However,
It's Kalshi.
bingo counts. Bingo's gambling.
Absolutely. So it is the driving force of our economy. So if you want to chime in, use the QR code. You can use the website as well.
And thank you for your vote.
Yes.
Whatever it might be.
Whether it's truthful or not, we're not here to judge.
Madness is coming up.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Lunar New Year back on Spring Mountain, back in the Chinatown neighborhood. We were live this morning on Good Day Las Vegas in Koreatown, looking ahead to their big Lunar New Year celebrations. This particular in Koreatown Plaza, they're going to have their big festival Saturday, so tomorrow at 1 in the afternoon. This is led by the AAPI Chamber of Commerce, one of many chambers of commerce in that part of town, all doing great stuff. More than 100 vendors, Nate. They're going to have live performances, lots of family fun, plenty of food, and cosplay.
I was going to say, if you leave out the cosplay,
no,
then,
I would never.
Yeah, no. And our J.C. Fernandez was there, and I believe that he came home in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, he was eating all sorts of great creations. He went to a Korean restaurant. The name escapes me right now, but lots of good food there.
Honey toast. I've never heard of honey toast.
Well, and this all fits in with all the other Lunar New Year things we've seen around the valley that have been great. The Bellagio Conservatory, downtown Summerlin as well. They had the Spring Festival in downtown Las Vegas. I think it was last weekend. All around the valley, lots of great stuff.
And if you're unfamiliar, Koreatown is at Spring Mountain and Rainbow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's right across from the Target, okay?
So that'll be great. If you want to go check that out, it'll be tomorrow starting at 1 o'clock. Now let's talk about something that maybe you've already eaten.
Well, I hope so.
Breakfast.
We have a thing once a week on 8 News Now in the morning called What's Cool at School, and it turns out, I did not know this, that next week is National School Breakfast Week. And we took a little visit with one particular school. They talked about if you've never been to the CCSD food service warehouse up in the northeast part of town, it is mind-blowing. They prepare and deliver tens of thousands of meals all over town, even up to Moapa, even down to Laughlin, up to Mesquite, every single day. So they call the cafeteria workers kitchen heroes.
Of course.
One breakfast at a time.
Absolutely. And you have to think about the amazing amount of work they have to do to get the meals out. CCSD, Clark County School District, is about the 5th largest school district in the country. 300,000 students. That's a lot of mouths to feed.
And they were telling us that the nutrition is good. It's real, that even the Cheez-Its that they have in schools are different than the Cheez-Its you buy every day, John, because they are more nutritious. They have apparently less sodium or something.
Oh, I got to get myself some of those. Cheez-Its is a staple of my breakfast before the morning show. I need to
and string cheese.
And string cheese as well. Well, I have a thing. It's my routine.
But seriously, the school district talks about how for a lot of students, food insecurity is a real thing.
Absolutely.
And that having free and reduced price meals at the school is helpful to the learning process.
That's good and healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick, favorite school lunch meal? Pizza, burgers?
I'm going to go with the brown bag bologna sandwich.
The brown bag bologna. Daryl, real quick, what do you reckon?
The calzone is coming to
calzone?
mind. I think we had a good one. And maybe there was like a chalupa situation.
Here's something they didn't have when I was in school, the share table. If you take a whole bunch of stuff and you don't eat it, put it on the share table for someone else to have, and don't throw it away.
Fair enough. I'm going pizza all day long, but I like your idea, Nate, too. Now that I'm hungry, that'll do it for us this morning here on 8 News Now at 10. We thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. We're back with you on Monday.
Good night.